as you know, last week we had on the programme the stars of Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil and Vile, which is now out this week. A drama about the life and trial of the serial killer Ted Bundy. The title taken from the judge's assessment of the killer, which is delivered in the film by John Malkovich, who is
having a good time.
Is clearly having a very good time. Directed by Joe Berlinger, who, as you pointed out last week, is also the director of Conversations with the Killer, the Ted Bundy tapes, which is the documentary about this same story. So it's a strange kind of dramatized half of a weird, an unexpected double bill. Zac Efron is Bundy, who we see meeting and seducing Liz Kendall, played by Lily Collins, in a second role of the week. We've seen that she was in Tolkien before. She has a child. Ted doesn't care. He seems charming and paternal, and she loves him, even when he runs a stop sign and is arrested on suspicion of kidnapping and worse.
It's about another missing girl, isn't it?
It's a mistake, Joe.
The news said King County is looking at him in connection to the 2 girls that disappeared from Lake Sammamish that one summer. You remember that sketch that we saw? It looked just like him.
That sketch looked like everybody.
Well, his name is on a suspect list.
There were over 30,000 names at one point. Every brown-haired guy with a Volkswagen Bug. It's a mistake. The police said he was cleared.
How do you even know that? And why is he in jail? And how did his name get on that suspect list?
I think you should leave. I think you should leave.
So it's a very odd film. One of the things that's important is that it's not, there have been previous films about Ted Bundy. In fact, there have been films about almost every infamous serial killer. And the height of the serial killer film boom was kind of around the time that Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer came out, which was a film that very much was about what the audience is doing, wanting to watch a film about a serial killer. And then there's a Matthew Bright film about Ted Bundy, which I have to say I was not a fan of. And what you have here is a film which is inspired by the book The Phantom Prince, authored by Elizabeth Kendall, about her life with Ted Bundy. And it's taking as its main focus how it is that somebody can be taken in by a character who, as played by Zac Efron, is bizarrely sort of charming and charismatic. So what the film doesn't do, and I have to confess that I was very relieved by this, it's not concentrating on the crimes, it's not concentrating on the appalling horrors. It's concentrating firstly on the people who appear to be taken in by him, and then on the courtroom, which he sort of plays as a theatrical stage, because crucially it's being televised. And there's a thing at the beginning when the judge says, this being the Sunshine State and we do things in the sun, how sort of appropriate. But it's also about the way in which this has all become a kind of form of mass entertainment. And I think that I do think Zac Efron is good in the role. Lily Collins was saying last week during your interview that it's funny that he's caught some flack as a result of making the film. And she said, I think it's because, I'm not sure that somebody else would have got that. Anybody who's followed Zac Efron's career knows that he's a very, very versatile actor, and he can do, like a proper actor. He can dance, and he can do horror, and he can do comedy, and he can do all these, and I think he is very good. I'm not sure that the film itself gets us beyond actually understanding much about either the killer, or why it is that the people around him are kind of taken in. I felt like there is more going on. I did feel watching it. Actually, I'd like to see have you seen the documentary series?
Yes, the documentary series I have not seen. No.
Yeah. But I think that it doesn't quite delve deep enough into the subject of the film, but partly I think because the subject is so horrific, is so horrifying, and what it's trying to do is to not do that. I think it isn't trying to do some kind of glamorous, entertaining portrayal. Heaven knows there are enough movies based on real life atrocities that are exactly trying to do that exploitative. I don't think this is. I think in a way it kind of skims the surface slightly too much, but I do think that Zac Efron's central performance as that incredibly creepy, narcissistic, somebody who can inveigle people into their confidence is actually well done. And also, I think the circus of the courtroom is well captured in the film.
And also, which we touched on briefly in the interview, is because of the way it's filmed and because it's not the film that you described. It isn't following him doing his crimes.
No.
There will be maybe a Zac Efron audience which is going to see this, and they don't, particularly in this country, they don't know the story about Ted Bundy, and they go, I don't know, did he do it? Because that's the way it's filmed. Then after a while you realise that he did do it, but it's filmed in that way as to suggest, well, the structure of the film is one of those, did he do it? Did he not?
Well, the structure of the film is definitely taking the point of view of somebody who has been people who have been completely inveigled into his world and don't want to believe, even when all their instincts are telling them this isn't, something is really seriously out of whack.
And the film is extremely wicked, shockingly evil and vile.
Which is the phrase which is used by the judge to sum up.
In his very strange summing up.
Yes, he's very strange summing up because he's kind of playing to the cameras as much, as well.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean,
in the way that John Malkovich
exactly.
is enjoying it.